insecurities. They were people who lacked confidence. They had erected endless idols to serve them, or to serve their presumed deficiencies, or to complete their presumed deficiencies. The Prophet came and he said, La ilaha illallah. None of these have any value. It is none but Allah. Instilled confidence in them. Those people who could not read or write, who did not know beyond grazing their animals and beyond the shimmering sands, within no time at all were the masters of the world. They contributed scientifically. They contributed in literature. They expanded their boundaries. And the level of their confidence was this, that foreign cultures were being imported within the folds of Islam, yet they were not threatened. They were not insecure. They molded them and fashioned them and gave them an Islamic outlook, and they embraced them, to the extent that the lost words of the great masters of thought, Plato, Aristotle, these were the people who converted them into Arabic and then developed them and then passed them on to the rest of the world. Where is that inconsistency? There is a fine point here that we need to understand, that with the losing of the inner restriction, we do not lose ambition. Ambition becomes something very real and integral part of growth. At one point, I want to feed the world, when the I is existent from within. That's the ambition, which is shirk. At another point, the world needs to be fed, because poverty and hunger are not befitting situations, whether I like it or not. It goes beyond my personal likes and dislikes. Poverty for the sake of poverty is bad. Not poverty because Allah has ordained me, or because I have attached a value to charity. There's a very big difference. There's a vast difference. The Prophet, you remember the old woman, don't you? The Jewish old woman who used to throw trash or garbage at the Blessed Prophet, or in the path of the Blessed Prophet. When she fell ill and he was not met by this reception, he went inquiring about her. They said she is ill. He went to see her, i'adatul marid, to visit a sick person. She said, "O Muhammad, you have come to seek revenge at a point where I am unable to respond to you. Is this the state of your weakness?" The Prophet responded. He said, "No, my care for you brings me to your door." She said, "I salute you and bring faith in you." Now here, upon analysis, this is the way we can see this whole event. That did the Prophet make a very shrewd political move here? The Quran says, when there is enmity between you and another, be good to them, and very soon the enmity will be turned into friendship. If we are clever, we would do good to our enemies. That will soften their hearts. But was the Prophet's motive was the Prophet's motive from his action such an understanding? No. The Prophet did not go to that woman in order to show her how good he was, so that she may look at him favorably. The Prophet was a helpless lover. He could not stop himself but be charitable for the sake of charity. Imagine. He loved that woman for the sake of loving her. What I'm trying to say is, today, as Ibn Sina had said, just to explain this thing so that there are no more misunderstandings within the mind and we can progress swiftly into our subject. Ibn Sina said, he said, look at the sorrowful state of the Muslims. Through their insecurity and lack of understanding, they have rendered the objective into means and the means into objectives. Today they worship Allah in order to attain paradise. They do not do wrong so that they may not be burnt in hell. What does that mean? That they are obeying Allah as a means to get into Jannah, whereas Allah was the objective. Allah has only placed heaven there so that they may be encouraged to come to Allah. Allah was the final end. Jannah was a mere encouragement. Allah has placed hell there to deter them from wrongdoing so that they may swiftly grow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The end has become the means for them, and the means have become an end for them. That is a gesture of growth through ambition. However, with the effacement of the eye, Allah becomes the sole objective. And a man stands and cries out, "O Lord, I do not submit to you through the fear of your pits of hell, nor through the incentive of your paradise. I submit to you because you are worthy of submission as a free man." And therefore the effacement of the eye is liberation from restricted ambition. When there is that effacement, it does not mean we lose ambition. It means that the values are righteous values and truthful values. Look at Hussein ibn Ali as he enters within the Euphrates, Al-Qama, Biharul Anwar. Majlisi cites this report, and it's one of the most brilliant maqatil that I have read on the fight or the final battle of Hussein ibn Ali. He states that the shield of Hussein ibn Ali resembled a thorny plant through the amount of arrows that it bore. As Hussein entered within the Euphrates or Al-Qama, he descended his steed. As he cupped water, 2 arrows were released. I'm just bringing a context here to see where he was in his own self and to answer this question. He was cupping water in his hand. 2 arrows were released. One struck his blessed forehead, and the other penetrated within the hollow cavity of his neck. As he extracted the arrow, a pool of blood gushed forth. He cleansed it with his garment or the hem of his cloak or something. As he cupped the water again, they cried out, "O Hussein, you partake of the cold water while your tents are being looted." As he heard this, in a rage, he reascended his Zuljana and made way towards the enemy. And as he was making way towards the enemy, he cried out, "O people, if you are not Muslims, and you have no sense of accountability in the hereafter, then at least be free man in this life of yours." To say what? That values are there for the sake of them being righteous, not for the sake of Islam, or for the sake of paradise, or for the fear of accountability. The losing of the inner self takes away ambition based on a restricted perspective. And it brings about the want of absolute growth for the sake of growth, not for any other motive. As our spiritual masters have said, if your journey is towards paradise, then sorrow be your lot. You will attain paradise, and that is no more than a reflection of the face of your Lord, and your Lord will still evade you. So we bring about consistency by saying this, that the outward motion of growth is when the son of Adam wants to become God himself, whereas the inward gesture of growth is when the son of Adam wants to melt away in God. And both have to go hand in hand. The first one, the external one, we are all doing without even understanding. The internal one is the one that we need to now begin. Now, resuming our topic, that we need to be in a state of fluidity. We need to